So I'll go to these highlights of the diet plan. The 500 calorie limit must be maintained through the entire diet, and that is because, you know, the HCG is releasing some of your own, you know, fat reserves for caloric intake during the day. So that number is based on what helps that body release that a little bit. So, you know, eating more than that will probably not produce the same results, okay?
Right.
2 small apples are not acceptable exchange for 1 apple, so choose your apples wisely, okay? Pick a good sized apple every time. You can substitute eggs for the protein, and that's actually a really nice thing to do. If you substitute eggs for the protein, it's 1 yolk and 4 egg whites. That would equal 1 of the servings of protein, so that's pretty substantial. Those are really good hard-boiled. You can hard-boil them, you pop out the yolks you don't need, but chopped up with some mustard, some celery, a little paprika, rolled up in romaine leaves is very nice, like a little egg salad sandwich. You could even, if you wanted to, crush up your breadstick in there, you could have that. Cottage cheese can be used as a protein substitute also. You have to use the non-fat, the skim milk, because again, we have to go very low fat, but it's half a cup, which is also nice, so that on the salad, that with some strawberries, however you want to do that.
Okay.
And then basically, once you're done with this HCG diet, whatever plan you do, the 3 or 6 week, you'll come back, you meet with me, we'll kind of go over everything, see how you did. We'll transition you then to another 3-week kind of maintenance phase when you're done.
Okay.
That 3-week maintenance phase is very similar to South Beach. It's some kind of what we transition you to, and that is low sugar, low starch still for 3 weeks. We can add in our healthy fats, we can increase our rate of exercise, and definitely you increase your calories. And that's to complete the HCG phase that we're working on. And then after that, we kind of talk a little bit more about modifications and any changes for life that you would want to make for, you know, healthy nutrition, healthy eating plan.
Got it.
Okay. Personal care and beauty products. So this is a big one for a lot of women. The skin being the biggest organ in the body, if we're putting, you know, coconut oil, moisturizer, any kind of fat on our skin, then we're absorbing it internally. And so believe it or not, that will absolutely affect the diet while you're on it. So we say no oils, period. Don't put any oils on your body, even on your face, whatever it is, and all the good stuff is generally not oil-free. But if you have oil-free moisturizer, that would be okay. You know, if you have a hormone cream that you are taking, we have you stay on that. But really any kind of, I mean, you know, we all have our beauty regimens when we get out of the shower. So just for the 3 weeks, best if you can avoid that. If you have to have a moisturizer, have it, you know, be oil-free, or try something water-based, something even like aloe, something like that if you're really having a difficult time. And we actually also have a nice product here in the office that I'll talk about. We have a few products that I'll share with you here at the end, but that's another nice one that has some detoxification properties as well. So that's something you could consider also.
Okay.
Makeup along those same lines, so an oily foundation, anything like that, and kind of base. It needs to just be mineral makeup. Lipstick, eye stuff is fine, but it's really important. Very, very important.
Okay, so when we're looking at the list of ingredients, we are making sure that it does not have lanolin and
any oil, yeah.
Just say oil.
Yeah, it would be basically, you want the first ingredient to be water.
Got it.
Water-based.
Okay.
Yep. So no massage oil of any kind. Massage is great though to help have some good lymphatic movement. So a Thai massage or something like that would be fantastic.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and skip back down here to the menstruation, because it is important. We do have you stop dosing HCG when you very first begin your menses. So for the purposes of starting the diet, it's best to start right at the end of your cycle, because then you can make it through the 3 weeks. You never have to stop. If you're not, you know, if you haven't just ended, you want to make sure you're going to have at least 7, preferably 10 days dosing the HCG before your cycle starts, because then you have to, you know, then we have you stop. So the first day you get your period and you're flowing, you would stop dosing the HCG. You do still follow the diet, so those can be a little bit tougher days. That's why you want to have, you know, about 7 to 10 days in, because your hunger will be substantially less than if we do that right off the bat and we try and put you on this modified diet.
So for the 6-week programs, everyone is stopping.
You will stop. Yeah, and it's generally, you know, 2, maybe 3 days max if you really have heavy flow. Once you're spotting, you can resume dosing, and you know, that sure seems to curb the appetite. So it's just during that time, and I definitely encourage people to, you know, follow up with me if you're during that time. If you're having a hard time, we can modify caloric intake, we can modify cravings and things like that, because that's often a craving time for most women. Okay, so that's just kind of important, because that sort of helps us with your start date and any breaks that you need to take while you're on it.
Right.
The biggest side effect on HCG, and I tell people to pretty much count on it, is constipation, and that's, you know, with a lower food intake and kind of all the fats, does seem to slow down the GI tract a little bit. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it is something that we watch for. We have our supplement, our Cleanse Blend, which is great, and that's, you know, a nice herbal thing, so not a lot of, you know, senna or psyllium. There's a small amount of that in there, but you wouldn't want to take any over-the-counter laxative. Some teas are okay, so, you know, there's like some different laxative type producing teas out there, and used in small quantities if you've used them before and are comfortable and know that you're not going to cramp or anything like that. That's fine to use, but our Bloom Cleanse Blend is really great and has some, you know, different herbs and botanicals that really help kind of keep the GI tract moving.
Yeah.
Along those lines, we also do recommend a probiotic just to keep healthy GI flora, and also kind of keeps the bowels a little more regular. And another thing that really helps with that is the apple cider vinegar. That's something that you could take, even just a teaspoon and like 8 ounces of warm water. You could take that in the morning. That kind of stimulates the gallbladder to produce a little bile, which is going to help break down the fats as they're leaving your system. So it just is kind of another nice little maintenance thing you can do at home. So you could put that on your salad too, or take it in your water if that's what you'd like to do.
And how do you take the orthobiotic powder?
The orthobiotic powder is just 1 little scoop, and we just have you take that in some water and drink it down.
Okay.
Yep. So we've talked about kind of the nuts and bolts of the whole plan that you're on. What we need to talk about now is the first 2 days of the plan. The other thing I did want to say is, in conjunction with this is, you know, we have the skinny shots that we do in the office. So with this plan comes 3. We have the skinny shots, which is the B12, the B6, and the lipotropics, which are just great for kind of revving the metabolism, helping the liver flush and metabolize the fats, so giving you better results. But you'll get 1 per week while you're on the plan. You're certainly welcome to do more, and generally more does produce better results. So we can talk about that if that's something that you're interested in. Okay. But I want to talk about the first 2 days of the diet. That's everybody's favorite. It's days 1 and 2 of the plan are the load days, and they're also referred to as the gorging days. And really, they are very important, just as important as the rest of the diet. And a big part of that is because it kind of starts the chemical reaction in your body. It helps with the rate of weight loss that you have. It also helps with less hunger during the plan, in our experience. That's what we've found. So I say don't skimp on these 2 days. A lot of people think, oh, if I start eating all this, yeah, I'm going to gain all this weight again. And really you're not. Don't worry about any weight gain you have during those 2 days, because you'll find that'll even right out once you get going on the diet plan. But yeah, it is a day. There's really no restrictions on that day. It's kind of Last Supper, so enjoy yourself. But it doesn't have to be a gross out day. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get really good healthy fats in the body. Avocados, you know, whole fat, yogurt or milk, olive oil, any kind of good nut butters, cheeses, things like that. All that being said, you know, if you wanted to go ahead and have your last hurrah with your whatever your favorite thing was, this would be the time to do it. So those 2 days you are dosing, you are using HCG, and really there's no limit. It really is important to feel like you've overate those days. You should feel like, okay, I'm ready to start that diet tomorrow. Because those should be big days of eating. So again, you're dosing. Those are days 1 and 2. And then day 3 is when you would start this program. And this would be days 3 through 23. Why 23 days? Because if you're doing the 3-week program, you dosed for 3 weeks, the 21 days. It takes approximately 48 hours to get the HCG out of your system. So we say to follow the HCG diet for 2 more days, for 48 hours more, after you take your last dose of HCG.
Okay, before you start the maintenance.
Yeah, before you start the maintenance. Yep, just to kind of complete the reset and allow all that to be out of your system before you make any changes there.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I would have with this would be some of these program considerations. This is just a little thing that has a couple recipes and some ideas. So, you know, the romaine lettuce wraps are great. You can use them to wrap up anything from the egg salad we talked about to even some kind of tacos. So you could have ground turkey or real lean ground beef and put your tomatoes and your onions in there and even some hot sauce and roll it up in the romaine, and that feels like, okay, I'm getting a taco. Cabbage rolls, soups are really nice. The broth, again, kind of a non-caloric issue, so that's something that you can make and have cooking during the day and feel like you're coming home and not another cold protein salad, now you're having something warm. So I like to do that with any kind of different broth, any kind of stock is fine. And then you can just put all your spices, your garlic or your ginger, and you could have chard and onions and celery and put your protein in there and you know, just kind of cook it down, or even have it in your crock pot while you're there at work, or make it during the weekend so that you have something. Again, variety is really good. So, you know, you don't want to go chicken, or every night I'm just going to have soup. Right. If you can, the more variety you give your body, the more successful you're going to be. And then here's one other, which is for a curried fish, and that shows where you could use that Melba toast as like a breading again. So you could crush it up and put any of these spices with it, bread your fish, and then bake it. Again, it's going to be a little different texture. It's actually very, very healthy eating. It's, you know, you're pretty much only on whole foods, so it's great. There's nothing processed. You're just having a lot of vegetables, some good lean proteins, and we encourage you to be, you know, eating organic, shopping at your farmer's market, so that this is a big detox and cleanse out of your system as well. You're drinking a lot of water and teas, so, you know, it is a big cleanse on the system, and really, you know, generally people feel very good when they're eating that way. So this gives you just a couple ideas, and then we